Well, it may be the last thing you'd expect on an airplane to be sexually assaulted, but as Channel 3's Andrew Horansky explains, it isn't unusual, and victims are now demanding change.
It happened on an overnight flight to Europe. Alison Develadze awoke to a man groping her. The flight log later showed a child was supposed to be sitting there. The attacker had switched seats and got away.
It is definitely an industry-wide problem. As someone who travels frequently, I was so surprised that this was happening.
The FBI says it's an alarming trend, with an average of 50 attacks per year on planes. In Cleveland, there were 2 last year, and that may only be the tip of it, since not all victims speak up.
It does occur. It probably is occurring more than we know. We think it's underreported because people in sexual assault cases on ground, people are reluctant to report things.
Agent Vicki Anderson says it happens most on overnight flights, while 1 in 5 flight attendants reports being aware of an assault, even assaulted themselves. Victims often sit in the middle or window seat, are sleeping and covered by a blanket or jacket. Some have taken a sleeping pill. The attackers, very often men who've been drinking.
Maybe the offender brushed up against the victim, the future victim, did a few things ahead of time to kind of see how far they could push the limits.
Through social media, Develadze has heard from dozens of victims, including a father who said his 11-year-old daughter was attacked. But there are things victims can do to protect themselves.
Leave that armrest down. If someone tries to invade on your personal space, make it clear that that's not acceptable.
Develadze says it's not acceptable airlines aren't doing more, believing they could be better at collecting and reporting data, using it to improve training and staffing.
Action, they can take precautions to deter these illegal actions on their flights.
Felonies happening far too frequently to flyers.
So if this happens to you, police urge you to use your call button, make a scene, and get help in the air before witnesses disperse on the ground. You can contact the FBI at the airport, since most major airports have an FBI office. And remember, you are the one who would in all likelihood need to report this. Airlines won't do it for you. I'm Andrew Horansky, Channel 3 News.